Our fourth story of the evening is Letter of Complaint by Andrew Stevenson. After 40 years of working as a documentary maker in London, Andrew Stevenson moved to Gloucestershire to write short stories, which he has, and to finish a novel, which he hasn't. He got the idea for his latest story when shopping in the Co-op in Nailsworth. He says he'll be going back there to find the inspiration to finish his novel, as well as his trousers. Please welcome to the stage to read Letter of Complaint, Andrew Stevenson.
Letter of Complaint. Dear Madam or Other, while shopping at my local convenience store for sundry vegetables, namely 2.5 pounds of Maris Piper potatoes, a medium carrot and 3 large onions, I noticed a display of Mrs. Mullen's traditional boiled sweets and purchased a packet with enthusiasm. These were advertised as containing no fewer than 450 milligrams of vitamin C and as being sugar-free and of assorted citrus flavours. While finding no fault with your claims regarding vitamin C and sugar content, or indeed, in the latter case, lack of it, I do wish to take issue with your use of the word assorted. Imagine, if you will, my disappointment on discovering that instead of the promised assorted flavours, you had supplied merely 2. Perhaps now would be the time to draw your attention to the dictionary definition of the word assorted, which is consisting of various kinds mixed together. Other definitions can be supplied on request, but rest assured they neither differ significantly in meaning from the one provided, nor alter the basic thrust of my argument. The flavours to which I refer above are lemon, which presumably for the purposes of identification you manufacture approximately in the colour of a lemon, and orange, which comes consistent with your policy approximately in the colour of an orange. On the practical matter of matching flavour to colour, therefore, I congratulate you on your faultless logic. Nevertheless, I feel that in addition to lemon and orange, I had every right to expect lime and quite possibly grapefruit, of which I had high hopes. For evidence of what can be achieved in a carefully planned assortment, I shall be sending, under separate cover, a study of the rise and fall of the much-lamented Spangle, an account that also sheds an interesting historical perspective on the genesis and social significance of the boiled sweet. Drawing on my wide and varied experience of sweets, both boiled and otherwise, I suggest in future you may wish to consider adding to your portfolio of flavours not only lime and grapefruit, but also tangerine, which to the discerning palate differs subtly from that of the orange. Indeed, such an inclusion would add a welcome degree of complexity to a game I devised some years ago in which blindfolded contestants are challenged to name correctly a flavour of the sweet of unidentified provenance. Please find enclosed a full set of rules. Now to return to the lack of variety in your flavours. After purchase, I had anticipated a carefree afternoon's consumption of the promised assortment. Events, however, the unfolding of which I relate below in narrative form, dictated otherwise. Having exited the shop, I eagerly removed the wrapping of the aforementioned sweets, resting my shopping bag as I did so on the head of a small boy, to whom I intended to give 10 pence for his trouble. At this point, suspending for the time being my initial disappointment in discovering the restricting nature of your assortment and not wishing to be hasty in my judgment, I considered the possibility that your sweets, although merely bi-coloured, might indeed be multi-flavoured. For example, and contrary to my initial assessment of your colouring policy which I outlined above, I speculated that some of the sweets, initially identified as orange by their hue, might be harbouring the taste of lime or grapefruit. By a similar thought process, I reasoned that a lemon-coloured sweet might conceal the taste of the suggested tangerine, or even that of a more exotic fruit, such as the oriental yuzu, when seasonally available. With this in mind, I sampled each sweet, passing them, after an initial appraisal, to the now securely blindfolded small boy for a second opinion in lieu of the promised 10 pence. I had just inserted into his mouth a sweet of the lemon-coloured variety when his mother appeared from within the store and inexplicably began beating me about the head with her own shopping bag, which by an astonishing coincidence also contained 2.5 pounds of Maris Piper potatoes, a medium carrot and 3 large onions. To conclude, I hereby return the sweets, partially consumed but otherwise in good condition. You will note that one is missing, which is the one that was in the mouth of the small boy at the time of his mother's outburst, and which she refused to return to me on the advice of a large policeman. I have calculated, therefore, that I am entitled to a 90% refund. The remaining 10% I hope to recoup from the small boy, his mother, or the large policeman at the time of the hearing. Yours faithfully, Herbert Pennywhistle, Cell 3, Tunbridge Wells Police Station.